Hey guys, I'm excited to welcome back a previous guest, Mr. Jimmy Love Jenkins. He was the co-founder of Uptown Records, close friend of Andre Rel. He was his right-hand man. He actually ran all the promotions, and so he's now moved into film production. And so we've got a number of things to chat about. So look forward. So you're bringing him in, and we'll start.
Doing?
Yeah, doing good. Somebody else just, I don't know if somebody else knew about this. Brian or Bryce or something.
Bryce?
Yeah.
That's Bryce from Groove Theory.
Oh, so he joined in, but then dropped out.
He'll be back.
Okay.
So I let a
Okay.
lot of people, I let some people know that I was doing this. I don't know
Oh,
how you promoted it, but it's fine.
oh, I thought you okay. You don't. I didn't know if you wanted to be part of the interview and stuff, so I wasn't sure. Okay, okay. No, that's that's
What
that.
about Greg Morris? Do you have Greg Morris info?
No, who's Greg Morris? I don't know.
Greg Morris is like a Uptown girl. She was down with Albie Shore, Eddie F.
Okay, was she part of the
So
girls?
no, no, no. That's Tara, Monica, and Terry Robinson. And
Okay,
Terry Robinson is one of the most incredible writers of all time history. She's won the ASCAP Awards, the BMI Awards, the as a writer. You
okay,
know, Warner Chappell Publishing. She's published by them. A lot of records she wrote. Mary J. Blige. She wrote Guy. She wrote for Teddy Riley. So many records. Michael Jackson and just so many records. She was the ASCAP Writer of the Year like 5 years in a row, and the
okay,
Billboard Writer of the Year. Her name
okay,
is Terry Robinson. She was married to Anthony Hamilton. I introduced her to Anthony Hamilton.
okay, okay. I mean, if I can
So
get, I
I
mean,
this is the pre. This is the pre. I hope you recording all this,
yeah, yeah,
player.
definitely, definitely,
Okay.
definitely, yeah.
All
It'd
right, let's
be
get it popping.
Yeah, there's been a lot of positive response to the first interview, especially the history of Uptown and the I sort of titled it "The Rise and Fall of Uptown" because it was how you started it off and then the whole Motown stuff and again absorbed. So there's been a lot of, lots of people loved your sort of taking it from the beginning and stuff. And especially since we were waiting for a biopic, sadly that has disappeared. Any, I know Andre was starting stuff, and then since he passed, it just seems as if BT is canned that. Any,
Well, BT is worthless. They wasn't gonna ever fulfill it anyway, even with Andre alive. And before we get started, I just want to introduce somebody to you. I got Eric Hughes in the car with me. And Eric Hughes is a great filmmaker. And he hates me to say this, but he's the son of Alan Hughes and the nephew of Albert Hughes.
okay,
So you need to know that. And you know what they've done: Minister Society, Dead Presidents, Book of Eli, and so many other films. But he's a filmmaker in his own right. And so, he gives me a lot of direction. And that's why I got him with me right now.
I don't know
okay,
about that. This is the OG right here. He's got the wisdom, so I try to listen to him and
okay,
just give him my young boy impressions of what he's saying.
That's right.
okay,
So I'm ready to rock and roll. We're going through the Holland Tunnel as we speak right now.
okay. No, so that we'll go from it. So you the last time we spoke, you did mention that you might be considering doing your own version of the Uptown story. Is that still something that you may consider doing?
I am doing that right now as we speak. We're putting it together. Presently, I work with Alan Hughes, and right now we're doing the Dear Mama story, the story of Tupac Shakur and his mother, Afeni Shakur, and basically finishing up. It will be finished by May, probably coming out during Mother's Day,
Okay.
and that's one of the projects that I'm doing. And then, I've been developing an Uptown story. I got some writers like Rodney Barnes, who did the Showtime doc,
He did the Lakers Showtime
Yeah.
shit, and then he also did the Boondocks.
Right. Did
Wow.
the Boondocks, and he writes a bunch of comic books right now for Marvel and other DC magazines.
He wrote on Black Panther, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
Okay. So that should be, yes, because I think there's still I mean, so that's stuff that you're still thinking and planning to do. Give us the Uptown story.
No. It's happening. It's not. The plan was already laid out. It's in motion now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be the story of hip hop and R&B, and Uptown's role in that, and Def Jam's role in that, and also Cold Chillin's role in that. And you know, Andre and Russell Simmons and Fly Ty, they were a crew, so they used to all live together. I told you this before.
Yeah.
And when they lived together, they came up with the name at the Def Jam, Uptown, Cold Chillin'. And that was 3 different record labels that were very, very successful. Russell Simmons, of course, with Def Jam. Andre, of course, with Uptown. And Fly Ty, of course, with Cold Chillin'. Now, Fly Ty had Big Daddy Kane, Biz Markie, Roxanne Shante, excuse me, and also MC Shan, as well as several other artists. Marley Marl, who was a famous producer. Yeah. And, you know, Mr. Magic, who put hip hop on his shoulders as a radio personality. And he was one of the first people to even introduce rap music to radio. And now it's the biggest format at radio right now. You know what I mean? Or genre of music at radio. So Mr. Magic and Fly Ty is responsible for that.
So is a plan to do like a sort of like a biopic, you know, on a streaming service, or what do you think? Or do you? How does that work?
No. It's not going to be on a streaming service. It's going to be on a major platform, and as well as a streaming service. And you know, we're just putting it together properly. Like I said, I'm already working with major productions already. You know, I was part of the Defiant ones. I'm doing this Tupac Shakur documentary, which is going to be phenomenal. You know, I'm involved with several other productions right now. You know, I worked with Alan Hughes for the last 13 years of my life. Wow. And I came straight from the music industry into the film industry. And so, you know, there's other people doing their version of Uptown. But the thing that I have that they don't have is that I was there. Yeah. I named Uptown. I gave Andre, I provided him with information about Uptown, what it meant, what it looked like, how it meant. And he was able to translate that to Teddy Riley.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
I just want to say on behalf of my uncle that I'm a long-time student of, that he also, the reason what made him special with his partnership with Andre is the information he had. Like he started his own barbershop, he understood maintenance, self-care, presentation, clothing, you know what I mean? So a lot of the artists that came through Uptown had to go through the filter of Jay and to get fly, you know what I mean? And really get media trained and ready to be that next level of superstar, you know? So that's really what the value, I think, from what I understand about Jay, other than the fact that he's just wise as shit, is that he understands aesthetics and presentation.
And presentation is everything.
Yeah, and you know, and we noticed the difference between Uptown when you guys were around and Uptown when you guys moved on. You know, we lost that sort of presentation. We lost a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the cross-selling, you know, having I'll Be Sure with Heavy D, having Mary and Jodeci with Father MC, and you know, have Mary and Jodeci and stuff like that.
Because that's how we built it. We built it off of the original Uptown crew, where you had Vanessa Sinquist, those are my girls. You had Groove Beat Chill. You had different people, Woody Rock, and you had Heavy D and the Boys off of that compilation album. Now, Heavy comes off of that compilation album, the only artist that continues the Uptown legacy. And Eddie F was a big part of that. Eddie F learned a lot of his production skills from Marley Marl and Teddy Riley, and mainly Teddy Riley. But Marley Marl was an incredible producer, and Eddie studied both of these guys, and he became the person that was the A&R, so to speak, for Uptown. Every record that came out of there, from Heavy D and the Boys, from Guy, Mary J. Blige, to Puff Daddy, before he started his own company called Untouchables. And I helped him do that. And Untouchables had a whole slew of producers like Pete Rock, CL Smooth. They had also they had an artist by the name of Donnell Jones. He had a super producer, Dave Hall, who went on to do Mary J. Blige. He went on to do Mariah Carey. He went on to do Jennifer Lopez, and so many huge, huge records. Whitney Houston. And Eddie was in charge of all that music. And we're in the process right now. Eddie F., Al B. Shore, and myself, and Christopher Williams is in the process of coming back together and putting all that music together. And first and foremost, going back to Universal, Warner Brothers, Sony ATV, Warner Chappell, and getting all our rights to all the music that we produced during that time, because we set the platform for the world. And all these new producers, from Timbaland to Puff Daddy to anybody that's coming now.
Yeah.
Uptown was the blueprint for all of that.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of them, because since we spoke, both Christopher and Al both had some health scares, and have you spoken to Chris to see how he's doing? I speak to
them every day.
How is Christopher
both
doing?
of them every day. I speak to Christopher Williams. He's doing amazing now.
Okay.
He looks better. He's healthy. He's more focused now than ever. He's grown up a lot. You know, that experience right there will make you take a look at yourself. And you know, you want to approach the world in a different way from here on out. You don't ever want to be in that predicament again. Yeah. And Al is the same thing. Al's recovered, and he's still recovering. Both of them are still recovering.
Okay.
And they're closer than ever now. And we're talking about making music together. And, you know, it's a whole different platform of how you present music, especially our music from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have to find your audience all over again.
Yeah.
And I think both of them are preparing for that right now.
Okay.
You know, they're both preparing for that.
Okay. Well, I know that Christopher, he did say that he'll finally give me the interview in a couple of weeks. So I can't. Yeah, because
I could make that happen. You know, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yeah. Because I think it'll be great to let people know. Now, I think one of the big things that I think I wanted to, there was a certain and I don't know how she became relevant, but someone's starting to spread rumors that about the beginning of Uptown and almost painting a picture.
She's lying.
Okay.
She's lying.
Okay.
She's lying. She never even met Andre Harrell in her entire life. And if she did, he arrogantly looked past her.
Okay.
Okay. Christopher Williams probably never seen her before in his life, and I'll be sure doesn't know her at all. And she wasn't there. She's never been in the Uptown office like so many other people. You know what I mean?
Mm.
They've never been at Uptown before. They're just speaking. I mean, I could say and list a whole bunch of people that are. You want to check in first, Steve?
Oh, I do. We're here already.
Yeah.
You want to stay here for a second?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay here.
Right, I'll be right back.
I'm gonna finish this interview. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. No, these guys have never been a part of what we've done ever. Nothing. They haven't been on any parties, any events, Uptown Unplugged, anything. And second of all, I'm the source. If you don't come see me, you're not telling the truth. Period.
Yeah.
I knew Andre Harrell since he was 9 years old. And he's 1 year older than me. We've been planning that out since then. All right. I named Uptown. He used to come to my high school and I would tell him, this is Uptown. Uptown was the Northeast Bronx, but the Northeast Bronx wasn't sexy enough. It didn't have that cachet that Harlem has. So we had to say that we're Harlem bound, Harlem based. All right. And then after we said that, everybody, whether they were from Mount Vernon, whether they were from Queens, we all said that we are from Harlem. And Harlem, because of the Renaissance era, because of people like Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, in terms of their fashion and their approach to poetry and music, you know, we took that and made it modern, and we became the new Motown. And we took that model. We had these young producers, Teddy Riley. We had Eddie F. Yeah. We had you know, so many other producers, Marley Mark. And we took that information and we began a training camp. The training camp was, now that we have that, where's the new artist coming from? Oh, we have Devontae Swing. Let him live with Eddie F. Let him live with Al B. Shore. That's why Come and Talk to Me was produced and written by Al B. Shore. And it was a song written to Kim.
Oh, you mean Kim Forever My Lady?
Forever My Lady?
Yeah.
And Come and Talk to Me.
Oh, okay.
Al B. Shore was very influential on that album. Puff was just coming in the door. And he was being trained by Al B. Shore, by Eddie F. And he lived with these guys. He lived with Eddie F. He lived with Andre and studied everything Andre did. That's how he became Puff Daddy. He studied everything I did in terms of fashion, marketing, promoting. That's how he became Puff Daddy. Because he got all that information. And we surrounded him by not only men, but the women that were incredible. The publicists, the marketing people, the stylists, the you know, Sybil Penix. He learned and he was able to take that and go to the next level.
Yeah, and I guess it's very hurtful for the legacy of not just Uptown, but for just Black music and Black excellence when you're getting people spending rumors that people are, you know, it is Kim, Heavy D, Andre connecting all those deaths, and I'm thinking, well, there's no proof, there's no evidence, there's no need, and it's just painting a bad picture of people that you don't, as you mentioned, she may not even know. So
and how dare you even talk like that with no proof? You don't even know these people really. She wouldn't be able to get Puff on the phone if she had somebody, if she knew Puff's mother, she wouldn't be able to get Puff on the phone. She wouldn't have, Andre, just his own arrogance would never even acknowledge her because he didn't like her music. Her music wasn't on the level and what we were doing. And that's what he was focused on, what we were doing. And he was very arrogant if you wasn't doing that, if you wasn't at that level.
Yeah. So as I said, that's I mean, it's good that you've been able to sort of help clear things up because it's been sad that it's just dragging the legacy of, you know, Andre, Heavy D, Kim, Al into in the gutter, and people just because it's coming from a recording artist who has no connection to Uptown or to Universal or to anything that you guys are doing. But because it's a recording artist, it's like, oh yeah, everything that's been said, it must be true. And there's no filter.
Yeah.
There's no one fact checking it. It's just like, oh, this must be true. And I think, and that's the sad thing, because as you mentioned, there's still a lot of hurt around Kim passing, Al's recovering, and to be dragged into this and to just label all these people, it's really a bad thing for our community. And I just don't, and people.
And it's not a bad thing that you would soil Andre Harrell's name, that all that he has given to music, not even Black music. Andre mentored actors, singers, pop stars, you know, just everybody. He was so open with his information if he respected you, if he respected your craft and the way that you did it. But if he didn't, and then you wasn't on that level in the way that he felt about your art, your music, he wouldn't even acknowledge you. And he was arrogant like that. You know what I mean? Like he had to see something in you. Like if you was an intern, he had to see something in you that you would be better than that. And he would provide you and lay out the information for you. That's how Puff Daddy became Puff Daddy. He didn't know any of this stuff. He didn't know about the white parties. He didn't know about any dressing. He didn't know about singing, going in the studio. Andre provided that. He put him with Eddie F. He put him with Albie Shore. He put him with producers and made them have relationships with him. And he grew from that because he's a genius. And a real genius and really smart person, you can't hold them back at all. They're going to be their own boss eventually. They're not going to be there as part of the army or the crew. I'm a person that I'm part of the army. I'm a general in the army. But I'm part of the army. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm fighting, going down with the ship, win or lose. I'm there. Puffy is always striving to do better on his own and make it his own mark.
Yeah. And
that was the problem with him at Uptown, that they couldn't be two kings. Andre and him, that was impossible. And that happened very quickly within a period of 3 years.
Wow.
Came in the door, got embraced by everybody because Andre said, embrace him. Andre said, lift him up, make him great. Because he was great. He is brilliant. He is a genius. And for this young lady to be speaking on him killing Andre or killing Kim, that's just flagrant and foul. Because you don't know any of these people. And it's wrong. And you're lying. You're lying saying that you know them and you don't. You've never been at Uptown. You've never been at Puffy's house, party, anything. Only time I ever seen her is when I invited my friend Darren Chandler, and he was A&R and Angie Stone. I invited her to Robin Thicke's house. So Robin Thicke, she comes to Robin Thicke's house and causes some sort of commotion there, and we shuffle her ass right on out the door. All right? And that's the extent of her relationship with Andre Harrell and anybody else. Yeah. And as far as what she said about Christopher Williams and and Puff Daddy, those guys, they've done they've had their issues, but you've never seen anything like that before because you never was there. You wasn't there. When were you there? Ever? In the studio? When we recorded MTV? And we were only company that did MTV Unplugged? When did you, where were you? You speaking on all this stuff? Where were you? You wasn't friends with Kim? You're not friends with Puff? Call him and ask him. He's not even going to respond to you. Asking you about her. You know what I mean? Asking him about her. He's not even going to respond. I'll tell you something about Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, and Puff Daddy. And Puffy gets this from them. He doesn't respond to criticism. He doesn't respond to slander. You ain't going to hear him say anything about it. This is not worth it.
Yeah.
People going to believe what they want to believe about you.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about you. And I'm just saying, have you ever had dinner with him? No. Have you ever been to his house? Do you know how he treated Kim or Kim treated him? You don't know nothing about it. You're just speaking off of hearsay and making up shit.
Yeah. And then also insulting Mary as well. You know, every time Mary
And
does
you
something,
insulted Mary, yeah.
yeah, every time
And
Mary
and
does anything great. Yeah.
because you're jealous, because you have never been able to achieve that. And you've been on the same record labels as Mary. You know, you've been on Universal and Mary's been on Universal. You haven't been able to achieve it. And, you know, Mary got to fight jealous people all the time because of her success. And Puffy has to do it too. He's not no angel, you know, he's not an angel, but you just going to be like, he has children, he has a mother. You're just flagrant. And you saying things that are extremely hurtful, not only to him, but to other people and other artists and to the whole staff and artists on Uptown Records. And you taking the truth and you twisting it all kinds of ways. And this is something I didn't even want to do. I didn't even want to speak on her. I put something on her post like, you're lying, shut the fuck up. You know, but I didn't really want to get on here and start airing her out because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and I didn't mention no name. Yeah, I didn't mention.
And I'm not. You notice I haven't mentioned her name.
Yeah,
but she don't want to come up. She's like, honeycombs, we're gonna kill you and run you out of town. What kind of shit is that to say? I guarantee you, Puff didn't even see that. You're not running anybody out of town. You're not killing anybody. And you got some traction, 40,000, 50,000 people viewed it. Okay, so what? And you know you can do that with a robot on Instagram. You can get 50,000 views if it's not organic, you know, you can pay for that. And then you can go to one of these idiots at these companies and say, you know, look at what I got. You know, give me I'm trying to cut a documentary deal. But what is it about? You know why the BET shit didn't come across? Because it's not authentic. There's no truth in it. Me and Andre wrote the whole thing. Andre and me wrote the whole thing. Andre passed away. Now you want to pretend like I'm not here. And you can take my legacy. You can't take my legacy. Because the truth will always prevail. I'm the truth. I'm the source of it all. Period. I drove the records to #1. I set the tone of what Uptown is. The fashion, the language, the vernacular, what we look like, what we dress like, how we talk, how our hand movements were. You see that in all the artists. And if you ask any of them, they can't deny it. They can't deny it.
Yeah. Gee whiz, Father MC, you know, anytime we speak to them, you know, they always put your name down. Mookie, I spoke with, you know, Mookie from the producer Mookie. Yeah, everyone brings, you know, everyone talks about, yeah, you know, Jay being at the, you know, the very beginning and stuff. And I guess that's right. Yeah. And I know because Andre was the figurehead, sort of the
front man.
The front man.
He's the guy that was able, I'll tell him like, yo, we need to do this, this, and this, and this. He was the guy that can translate it. Andre was a very articulate speaker, and he was an artist. So he knew how to project certain things. What he's done, I can never do. But what people knew, that I had a sense of fashion. I had a sense of style. I had a vernacular, and I spoke in a way that they could understand, and they wanted to gravitate to it. And if you listen to these records, even till today, and Mary, her whole flavor, style, the way she talks, all of that shit derives from me. Even if Andre told her to do it, it derives from me. Everything Puffy do, look at him in his interviews. It's me. It's me. Like, and I'm not mad because I'm honored. I'm honored because we from Uptown, Harlem, the Bronx. It's about each one teach one. We taught them how to be happy and be proud of where you come from. Be proud that you are able to create things on a whole nother level that people don't even understand, and that you have an influence. And every subsidiary company today is a derivative of Uptown Records and me and Andre.
Yeah.
Every single one. And some of these people, even the more affluent Whitney Houstons, the Mariah Careys, they all got information from Andre Harrell. And Andre, myself, Kurt Woodley, Puffy, whoever was in our camp, we would go out to a party every night, come back home, and plan out what the project that we were working on, what it would look like, how they would talk, how they would present themselves. Every night, that was an issue and a plan. Every night, that plan was laid out. And then we would come in and give it to the people that worked at Uptown, and they would help take it to the next level.
Yeah. Are you surprised that Mary is still being nominated for Grammys, and she's still 30 years later still on top of her game?
Mary is like Andre called her, she's a monument. She's what is it when you call a land, when you have a hotel that is a historical place?
Mm.
She's something that is, her music will always affect new generations to come. It's like Aretha Franklin. She's a national monument. She's a national, whatever that is, when you're historical, when you're forever here.
Yeah.
Even long before you're gone, you're going to be here. And you know why that's that? Why is that? That's because Uptown Records and the people at Uptown Records that helped design her, shape, mold her, taught her how to dance, taught her how to dress, taught her how to speak, taught her how to walk, taught her how to talk. That comes from Uptown and the people at Uptown. And the epicenter of all that is me and Andre Harrell. Mm. Andre Harrell is the front man, and he's able to translate the image and the persona of Uptown Records.
Yeah.
I'm the guy with a bunch of ideas along with a lot of other people, because nobody did this on their own. Not one person. Puffy's not a billionaire without the help of all of the people at Uptown and Andre Harrell telling him he could do it, because nobody came in the door thinking they could achieve that level of success. We instilled that in them, the confidence.
Yeah. Well, Jay, and it's always great getting you back on. So just as we wrap up, so your FINA documentary, is that coming out? You said Mother's Day.
Yeah, May. It's already running the commercials and running on Hulu on the NBA basketball games right now. But not only that, I'm doing Arnold Schwarzenegger right now with Alan Hughes. We're doing the Snoop Dogg movie with Alan Hughes.
Wow.
We're still working on the Marvin Gaye with Alan Hughes, Dr. Dre, and Jimmy Iovine. Wow. And more than anything, I'm working on the story of hip hop and R&B and Uptown's relationship to it, along with Def Jam and Cold Chillin'. Because I was doing this before I got to Uptown. I got cultivated by me and Andre being together. We helped each other. What he had, I definitely didn't have. And what I got, he absolutely didn't have. I got that shit. I need you to know that.
Yeah.
I'm the undisputed flavor man ever to ever live.
Your legacy speaks for itself, especially when we think about how you guys held it down for Black music, Black culture during the late 80s and 90s and stuff. And we just spoke about Mary and the legacy she has. We still talk about Guy. We still talk about Jodeci. Jodeci is probably everyone's favorite group. I'll be sure. How he took things off. Christopher Williams, Heavy in the Boys. So, you know, even Father MC still making music and still out there.
Father MC, right? And Father MC helped launch the careers of Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. And we don't talk about Kurt Woodley, who was the A&R of everything before Puff got there. But he went on to do Cypress Hill. Went on to do the Fugees. He went on to do Tim Dog. He went on to do so much other stuff. He's still making records right now. Wow. And I'm just saying that, there's so many people that came out of Uptown that helped the whole progress of it. We were truly the new Motown. And we hailed Andre up and let him take the lead and let him get all the accolades and everything like that. And he should get all the accolades, because for most of us, if it wasn't for Andre Harrell, we wouldn't have that vision. We would be on mama's porch somewhere down in North Carolina. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have known to put Devontae with I'll Be Sure and let Puff live with Eddie F. And how dare us not look at Eddie F like he's not an icon. We should look at Eddie F like we look at Teddy Riley, like we look at I'll Be Sure. Look at all he's done in the music. Every record that came out of Uptown, Eddie F has something to do with it. Check the credits.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie's, I think he was not getting a lot of intro. Yeah, Donnell, as
right.
you mentioned. Yeah,
right. Intro, Kenny Green, who wrote for Mary J. Blige. A lot of writers and producers.
Yeah.
I'm not even naming them all, but I helped Eddie set up his record company. I helped him, get this whole thing off the ground and run his whole Untouchables thing. And he'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything I did for Andre, I did for most of my artists.
Yeah. So as we finish up, so we're going to get to the Afina documentary. You also mentioned the music. Is it this year we should expect the stuff that the no, the music.
Tupac Shakur.
But you also mentioned teaming up with Al and Christopher and trying to recreate music.
Oh, yeah. It's this year. We're going to have to start the campaign. You got to understand, to get the truth, there's so much noise going on. You got Jaguar Wright saying that she's getting ready to do a documentary. On what, though? But we go ahead, though. And then I'm not even going to say the other people that are doing it. That's fine. But if you don't come see me, you're not getting the truth. Period.
For your documentaries, because in the 90s, soundtracks, especially R&B soundtracks for Black movies, were off the scale. Is this not a way of actually reintroducing R&B using the soundtracks for documentaries?
It's good you asked that. Definitely. And you're going to start seeing soundtracks on Alan Hughes's movies, documentaries. You're going to start seeing soundtracks, period, come back in a big way. Because right now, although the music business is probably making more money than they ever have, because they're basically robbing people. The streaming is robbing the artists. You know what I mean? And publishers, they're robbing the artists. You know what I mean? And you don't make any money. You make more money off of a cassette tape right now, today, which nobody will use, or some vinyl, right, than you would off of streaming. They're paying you 0.0004. You get less than a penny off a billion streams. All right. So you wind up with 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever. They just, and they have no right to even put you in a bundle. It's called a bundle, where they put you with other artists. And some of the artists get paid more. Some of the artists get paid less. Kim Kardashian probably gets paid more than all the artists that are part of streaming. Okay. So, you know, and the thing is I'm a real black man. I'm not afraid to say shit. And I'm 60 years old. So I really don't give a fuck. And I'm going to be calling out whatever and whoever that is lying in terms of my craft, my art, my work, my blood, sweat, and tears to make this shit happen. Because it wasn't easy. Nobody was going #1 just because of their talent. I pushed that through. I'm the one that traveled around the world, took Mary by her hand, took her to every radio station in every single city, and pushed her through, pushed her music through. Everybody wasn't loving her voice. I forced them to love her voice. I forced them to pay attention and listen to the authentic truth. Her music, it was authentic and it was true. And it sounded good, it felt good, but you had to listen to it. And it was a new music coming through, and they weren't readily just accepting it. Biggie Smalls, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci's first record failed. I pushed it through. So along with Andre, Puffy, and Kurt with the music, I came with the marketing and the promotion. I created the street team. I had a company that when I was in college, in my college, Lehman College, we bought Miles Davis, we bought Ron Carter, we bought Chaka Khan, we bought Prince, we bought James Brown, all of that to Lehman College, along with Andre Harrell, who went there, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I created a street team called A Gas Station, along with my youngin' that I hired. His name is Chuck Bone, who gave all the parties for us. We showed him how to do all the parties. I brought him to Uptown. All this shit starts at Uptown. And a lot of it, a bunch of it, 90% of it starts through me. And Andre was the voice. I hired the staff. I cultivated the artists. Andre spoke to the artists. He was capable of doing that, speaking to the stars. But I did the promotion, the marketing. And you are not going in anywhere and just putting a new artist on. I don't care how good they are. You have to establish the relationship. It's based on relationships. And then it's the art. And then the art speaks for itself.
Yeah, because you did mention about why, because Christopher Williams's album is just celebrating 30 years, and it was probably one of the best Uptown albums, but it could have. But you mentioned about the relationships and how that stalled the progression for that.
Well, me and Chris had a relationship before Uptown. Chris used to be my youngin'. He's like 2-3 years younger than me. And he would be at my house. We came from the same neighborhood. We started in the same projects, Edmore projects. Then he lived in a private house. I lived in another project called Boston Secor. We went to the same high school together. I'm his OG. I introduced him to his various wives. Me and him had problems when he came to Uptown. I didn't even know Chris could sing. He lived with me, and I didn't know he could sing. And Chris is like I said, he's a Adonis. At 11, 12 years old, women were going nuts over him. And then we got another light-skinned, high yellow nigga by the name of Albie Shaw. and everybody thought they were cousins. And we had that at Uptown because we made great music. Albie Shaw is one of the most incredible producers to ever live.
He doesn't get
We
his
talking
credit.
Quincy.
He doesn't get
No,
the
he don't
credit.
get his credit. He don't get his credit, but it's time for us to take and step in our glory. We're not gonna go out with people not recognizing that all that we did. Look at what we did. We don't have to do no more. Now it's time to pay residuals.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do more. We're gonna be healthier. We're gonna be better. Because you learn from your mistakes. And both of them have been, they might have put themselves at the bottom. Now they're ready to rise up and be at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And what happened yesterday is never going to happen again.
Mm.
And we're going to step into our glory and take our piece of history, which is a big piece of history. There wouldn't even be no organized record companies, subsidiary record companies, if it wasn't for Uptown Records. And the designer of that is Russell Simmons. And the person that put all these rap records on radio and on TV was Mr. Magic and Fly Ty from Cold Chillin'. And that's fine that there's still an audience for that music. We want to hear that music. That's why you hear these old school radio stations rising up across the country, across the world. People want to hear it.
Yeah.
Not saying that they don't want to hear new music. They want to hear that music, though. That was a special time in music where we brought people together. We didn't only bring singers and producers together. We brought talented actors, poets, stylists, fashion people. We brought all that together. You know, we brought all the, you know, blending of Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, this model, that model, Mary J. Blige, Biggie Smalls, and some gangster from Uptown that everybody was scared of. But we brought all that together. And all of that was influenced, you know, influential, all of it. Yeah. Because when you look at it, you know, we would have big dinners. And if you were from Uptown, you never really been to Mr. Child's before. And this is in 1983. And Andy Warhol would be sitting at the table, or somebody like him, Basquiat. Then you have Russell Simmons. Then you have these high Kate Moss, and you have this, and then you would have Run from Run DMC, Russell Simmons hosting the whole thing, Kimura, this, that person. And then you would have some hip hop star who's fresh out of the hood. And they would go, all right, everybody has to stand up and say a little something about themselves. And you would be surprised how hard that is to do when you've never done it before. In front of these type of celebrities and people. It's very intimidating. And everybody went through that process because of Andre Harrell. And it started with Russell Simmons. And the white parties were started with Andre Harrell.
Wow.
Me and him designing it. What it would look like. What the people would look like. What would the conversations be? How do we get Bruce Willis here and Demi Moore and have them sit next to Biggie Smalls and Heavy D? And then they realize, like, oh, wow, these guys are really, really intelligent. They really are intelligent. When you deal with Puff, you're dealing with a genius. You're not dealing with no regular human being. And all the guys that came behind us, Jay-Z, whether it was Jay-Z, whether it was Irv Gotti, or whoever, all these guys, they didn't just learn what they know how to do. They learned all this shit from Uptown. You listen to every record Irv Gotti ever did is a duplicate of an Uptown record, a replica of it. Every single one, all the Ashanti music, everything, Ja Rule, whatever. To the day, Drake emulates Devontae. Where did Devontae get his talents from? I'll be sure, Eddie F. But he probably going to kill me behind saying this. But the Uptown system.
Yeah.
It worked. You got Corey Rooney and Mark Morales from the Fat Boys. They were one of the first guys to produce Mary J. Blige, Father MC. And they got their style and formula from the Uptown style.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be good to, I guess, you know, as I said, it'd be great when we get the visual history lessons of this, because this is something that, as you mentioned, right now people are craving for the history, old school stuff.
Right.
So, you know, that's why it's important to be able to document this stuff, because, you know, history has been written by those who are in power. And,
right.
You know, Rolling Stones were listing their top 100 singers of all time. They listed Michael Jackson at 86. They listed Gladys Knight at 101. You know, so they're trying to retell the story because we don't have the outlet. So that's why it's good that, you know, you guys are making both visual representation of what the story, so people can see and see the truth and be able to hold on to that.
Right.
So, yeah. So we definitely look forward. So Mother's Day around May, we should see the Athena stuff. We hopefully will get some new music from Chris and Al around, you know, supporting the soundtrack.
And Eddie F. And Eddie F.
Okay,
and different people, definitely.
Okay.
You know, especially when the Uptown, the whole get down comes is going down.
So I guess when the Athena documentary comes out, we'll get you back just to go live, and I'll probably go live then, just so that people know what to expect, so we can just, as it get closer, so really get people to tune into that. And the next time you have some things about to come out, we'll get you back in. So, because as I said, we just want to keep promoting Black excellence in all forms, and not be part of that culture that's trying to bring us down, but trying to keep elevating and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah, so Jay, it's been great that you've been able to join in. Hopefully, if you can put a word for Chris, you know, because I'm gonna
make it happen.
Yeah, I want to celebrate him.
It happen.
Yeah, I want to be able to celebrate
I'm gonna make
him.
It happen.
Yeah, celebrate him. And Bryce Wilson, I didn't realize that was Bryce Wilson from Groove Theory.
Yeah, that's Bryce Wilson.
Yeah, because people, I mean, he was one of the baddest producers out there. So I mean, if he's ever up for being celebrated on Halftime Chat, I mean, I would love. Yeah, so if you let him know that I could try and get him.
Definitely, and he's with it. You know, you need to know Greg Morris too. She does similar what you do, and she was there from the beginning as well. And I think you and her, it will serve you well if you was to talk to her. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Her name is Greg Morris.
Okay, I'll check her out. And then Terry Robinson, you mentioned Terry, because, you know, I remember Terry. Is it the same Terry and Monica?
Terry and Monica, and before Terry and Monica, it was the girls.
So she was the same. That's Terry Robinson. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely love.
It was the girls on Uptown, and then it became Terry and Monica. But Terry was writing for basically everybody, from Babyface to Mary J. Blige.
Wow.
To everybody. She wrote all of Faith. She wrote on Faith stuff. Faith wrote on Mary stuff. She did a lot of work with Puff Daddy. She did a lot of work with everybody. Whitney Houston, everybody. Terry Robinson is an incredible writer. Then she wound up getting married and having a child by Anthony Hamilton, who I signed at Uptown.
Yeah, you mentioned Anthony. Okay.
Yeah, so I signed Anthony Hamilton at Uptown, and then they went and had a baby. She wrote on his album as well.
Wow. Yeah, and
so
Fanatic,
she's a pretty incredible writer.
Fanatic was trying to help me connect with her. So, but
yeah, well, he's the person that can help you. I work with Fanatic right now. You know, he's a hell of a producer.
Yeah.
Also a hell of a director too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had him on people loving the interview I did with him. He talked about his work on the Little Kim stuff, his Michael Jackson stuff.
Yeah, Crush on You record.
Yeah. So I'm in touch with him. but yeah, so I appreciate that you got in the car, you spoke, cleared things up for us, and as soon as the document's about to drop, I'm gonna get you back on so we can push that. When the music's about to come out with Albie Shaw, Christopher Williams, and Eddie F, we'll come back again because, as I said, we want to keep promoting Black excellence. Soundtracks are great. We missed them. Maybe that's a way of connecting the films to the music, but whatever it is, we're going to be here.
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, it's coming. Like there's going to be not only with this, but with all of it. The soundtrack is so important right now.
Yeah,
because it's the you got to remember, music is a universal language, and it's very different but similar to making a movie. But the thing about music is the soundtrack of a lot of people's lives, and you see it visually, but it's something about being home listening to Luther Vandross, listening to Heavy D. Heavy D was the first rapper to even do a record with Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. People forget that. Then he did the record with Albie Shaw, right? And then once he did the record with Albie Shaw, he went on to do records and collaborate with so many other superstars. Then he started trying to act. And, he was big at that with Eddie Murphy and, in different films. And he's continued to make records. Then he made a record with Anthony Hamilton and a reggae record as well. Won a Grammy for that. So, a lot of times, Uptown, we didn't get the credit. But like I said, we were the Motown of music. We were the new Motown of music.
Yeah. Well, Jay, it's been great. I know you thanks for taking time off. And as I said, I can't wait to get you back just as your documentary and everything that you're talking about comes out. So keep promoting and pushing and stuff. And and as I said, we need people like yourselves documenting and showcasing Black excellence, because that's what you guys did at Uptown. Sadly, the majors and the networks and the radio stations have a different agenda, so we need to continue to find a way of getting our positive representation.
But like I said, though, they have a lot of these old school radio stations popping up, and they're like the #1 stations in their marketplace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like this music is going away anywhere. This music is being regenerated constantly.
Yeah.
And you see it. Jodeci is on tour right now. Mary's still on tour right now. 30 years later. People are out. Look at Anthony Hamilton. He's still on tour. You know what I mean? It just like, and that stuff came 30 years ago. But this is a music that people want to hear.
That's true.
And with the introduction of the internet and downloading, they rejuvenated the whole 90s music scene.
Yeah. I mean, channels like myself are built on celebrating the 90s and some 80s, but more old school. And people are like, yeah, we want to hear that. People want to hear the stories, want to listen, and want to understand behind the history and embrace that. And so that's why, as I said, things that you're doing in film alongside music is going to be important for us going forward and stuff. So,
well, I just want to ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
How my hat look?
Yeah. You don't have a cigar, but yeah. So it's good that you've got you got the hats going and stuff. Yeah. So
okay.
It's strange because you're wearing a hat and normally you don't necessarily see people with hats, but it seems to fit that I don't even notice that you're wearing a hat. That the thing,
right?
It's like I didn't even notice that you're wearing a hat because it just seems to follow.
Right.
It's so yeah. It's
that's the Uptown way. We gotta do things that make us comfortable. Harlem stand up, and this is what we do.
Yeah, it's funny. As I said, I didn't notice you had a hat on because it just seemed it didn't see. If I saw someone else wearing a hat, but it didn't seem to stand out that you're wearing a hat.
Right.
It's different for a baseball cap, but you're wearing a hat. But it just see, because I'm used to you with a cigar, and it seems to fit the suit, the style, the glasses.
Right.
So yeah, so.
Right.
No, what
right.
was the word you used? Was it Black excellence? But what does
Black excellence?
It was
Black excellence, hip hop and R&B. What is the other thing? Mary J. Blige, the queen of hip hop soul. All of this comes from Uptown.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff was coined and phrased by me. And that's just the truth.
Yeah. No, definitely. And yeah, definitely. So okay, Jay. So we'll, as I said, we'll when come back in May, promote that, and it's definitely we're great to celebrate Christopher and Terry and Eddie and stuff and stuff. So
I hope you put all that together too. All you gotta do is call me. I hope you definitely put that together.
Yeah, well, I'll send you a message about Christopher.
Reunited.
Yeah,
we all reunited right now.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Please remember to like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Turn on the notification so you can always be alerted when we have a new video. But thanks for watching. Till next time.